Hey everybody, Rob Veno here, WagerTalk.com. WagerTalk TV with your Tuesday NBA looks. Free selections with analysis on a pair of NBA games here on April the 8th as the season winds down. We'll take a look at Chicago, Cleveland, and then we'll finish it off with Boston at the Knicks. Let's get right into the Bulls and Cleveland game. This one opened with Cleveland 10.5-point favorites, 238.5 the total. Currently, the Cavaliers up to 12 and 239.5. A lot of that based on the injury report here for Chicago, which will rest Kobe White, their number one shooting guard here tonight. Number one point guard Josh Giddey, also game time decision with a little bit of an arm injury. Kevin Huerter, small forward, another shooter around the perimeter, out for this game with a neck injury. And there'll be a decision made on center Nikola Vucevic, the starting center, could be rested. That'll be a game time decision. Chicago's on the front end of back-to-backs here, so it wouldn't be a surprise to see everybody sit. For the Cavs, the ankle injury to Donovan Mitchell last game will keep him out of this one. It's not a serious injury, but he won't play here. Quick look at the schedule. Bulls had yesterday off. This is the front end of a back-to-back. As I mentioned, they'll be home versus Miami tomorrow. Cleveland had yesterday off. This is the second of a two-game homestand. They did lose here on Sunday to Sacramento. They've had a day off in between each of their last six games. So Cleveland is pretty well rested. I think slight advantage for scheduling and rest factor to the Cavaliers. Quick look at the matchup here. Bulls are in the second of a two-game road trip, very short road swing. They did beat Charlotte the other day, 131-117. 3 games left in the season for the Chicago Bulls, and their next two are at home. I mentioned the Miami game, which happens tomorrow. That's a bit of a showdown here. The Bulls are currently the number 9 seed in the Eastern Conference, and they do hold the tiebreaker over Miami right now. Miami's number 10. Of course, 9 plays 10 in the play-in, and 9 gets the home floor advantage. Bulls have won 2 of 3 in the series, thus they hold the tiebreaker. A win tomorrow for the Bulls would basically sew that up for them. Now, they could climb as high as 8, but just in the battle between them and Miami, they could lock up the 9 seed with a win tomorrow night, which leads us back to the point where they may rest guys to be ready for tomorrow's home game for the Miami Heat. With Washington and Philadelphia, but after that, Chicago looks to be in good shape for winning their last 2 games. So again, tomorrow's may be more important than tonight's to the Bulls. For Cleveland, it could be the exact opposite. Cavs are going to try and clinch the number 1 seed in the East here this evening. They failed in their first attempt Sunday. There's still a chance they could catch Oklahoma City for the number 1 overall seed in the NBA and home floor advantage in the finals, but that's a little bit of a stretch, but still a reason to play here. So the Cavs seem to have more motivation for this particular game. However, they have not been good against the spread lately. They're 5-12 against the number in their last 17, all 17 as favorites, and they're only 2-6 against the spread as double-digit favorites, which is the situation they're in tonight. However, if you just individualize it and look at what they've done against Chicago this year, they bashed that team twice in a row now. Covered both as double-digit favorites, beat the Bulls by 18 and 22. So let's take a look at how we can play this game without at least 2 of their top 3 guards. And we don't even know if Giddey's going to go, because if Josh Giddey doesn't go, all 3 of the top guards will be out for the Bulls. It's hard to back them in this situation. Their best player down the stretch has been Kobe White. He's obviously out for this one. You add in the possibilities of Huerter and Vucevic and just don't see a way to get to the Chicago Bulls in this one, especially knowing that Cleveland probably has the mindset of wanting to win this game and get that number 1 seed clinched. I think what happens to Cleveland here is they're probably a little bit fired up. You read a couple of the quotes from Sunday's loss. They're not happy. Saw a couple of players indicating that they didn't follow the game plan in that one. I'd expect full focus in this game, a motivated effort. I think that shows up in the first quarter. Let's not try them as a double-digit favorite where they've been unsuccessful as of late, but let's get them in the first quarter here. Their starters against the Bulls' lack of starters. First quarter, Cleveland is -4. That'll be your free play for this game. Cleveland -4. Before we move on to Boston at New York, let me just remind everybody that this is $5 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. You can choose from any of your the handicappers available at WagerTalk. for today. A top play will be released by all of us for just $5. Mine is up there. It is an NBA play. NBA's been very, very good as of late, 24-6 the last 30 plays. Once again, $5 Tuesday. Great way. If you haven't had a selection package or purchased a selection package from WagerTalk yet, this is a good way to get involved for just $5 for each handicapper's best bet. Let's move on now, get to Boston and New York. Celtics here open 2.5, 223. Line switch here, change of favorites. Knicks now 1.5, 222. Boston, long injury list here. Who knows who's going to go? Who knows who's not going to go in this one? Boston, again, much like the Bulls, are in the front end of a back-to-back, and they can basically do whatever they want with their lineup here. But Jason Tatum missed the last game with an ankle injury. He's game-time decision. Kristaps Porzingis, illness. He's a game-time decision. However, just to clarify and clear things up with Porzingis, he did go through the morning shoot-around, so maybe Porzingis goes here. Who knows? Just because he went through shoot-around, it's not a definitive act that says he's going to play here in this game. Al Horford, the backup center's out with a knee injury for the Knicks. Boy, you haven't been able to say this much recently, but it's a pretty clean injury report for New York. Schedule-wide yesterday off. New York had yesterday off. For Boston, it is the first of a back-to-back. They're going to travel to Orlando tomorrow. So again, Joe Mazzulla can play around with the lineup and the rotation here, sit, rest. Man, it's really tough to gauge who's going to play for them. The advantage here, as far as scheduling, has to go to New York because we know who's going to play. On the Boston side, even though they're rested, we just don't. Matchup and situation here, Boston's entirely owned this series. They've won 7 of the last 8. And again, I say 1 because in this case, they don't have to cover a number. They're an underdog. All they have to do is win this game. They're on an 11-1 run in their last 12 games, 16-2 their last 18, 8-0 straight up in their last 8 road games are the Celtics. 7 of those 8 wins by 10 plus. They've been on absolute fire as of late. And you got to remember, a lot of this is done with Boston, again, not having maybe 1 or 2 starters in a game. Their bench play has been terrific. Some nights Jaylen Brown might not play. Some nights Porzingis might not play, Horford, whoever. Boston's been really, really good no matter who's on the floor. They're top 5 team in defending the paint since the All-Star break. They're top 5 defending the 3. And they own the NBA's #1 offensive rating. All of that since the All-Star break. So Boston on both ends has been very, very good. The Knicks offense with Jalen Brunson back, good at all 3 levels. But their advantage in this game might be mid-range. That's where Boston's susceptible. You take a look at their mid-range field goal percentage allowed, and you can see that the Knicks, with their guys who do shoot mid-range very well, and especially with Brunson back in the lineup, it's a spot where maybe they could take advantage here. We'll see. Let's see how we could play this game. We'll take a last look here. Boston, again, they just look like a team that's kicking it into high gear for playoff preparation. They've been on fire for quite some time now. Game really has no standings implications for either team. Boston comfortably as the 2 seed. The Knicks comfortable in the 3 spot right now. Since the All-Star break, these are 2 of the 4 slowest paced teams in the league. Boston actually 30th in the league in pace. Really doesn't matter, though, because they average 116 points per game over that span, even though they're the slowest pace. The efficiency level for both of these teams is really, really good. The Knicks are number 9 this season in offensive efficiency. So even if you play a slow-down game, doesn't mean you can't score points here. The game-time status of the big guys here, Porzingis and Tatum, with Horford already ruled out, really makes it a difficult handicap on multiple levels. Jason Tatum being a main reason why. He scored 102 points in the 3 games against the Knicks so far this season. That's 34 a game. He's absolutely shredded them. Boston has scored 118 or more in every game against the Knicks so far this season. The Knicks have scored 109, 104, 105. So it affects both ends. Boston's better defensively when they have all these bigs in the game. Boston's better offensively against the Knicks when they have Tatum in the game. They have plenty of scoring ability no matter who plays. We've already gone over that. But it seems to me that they're just banged up enough, and they might just rest enough players here for the Knicks offense to get the job done here. I think early scoring is going to be a big thing. Boston's a very good first half scoring team, top 3 in the league. Knicks probably have an advantage here tonight against the somewhat banged up Boston lineup. So we're going to play first half here. Boston Knicks over 113. That'll be your free play for this game. And now on the way out, I'd like to ask everybody to hit the like button if you like the selections and analysis given here each and every day by WagerTalk handicappers. Go ahead and hit like. Hit the subscribe button and join the 199,000 plus people who have already subscribed to WagerTalk TV. If you have a comment on this game or any other game on the NBA slate today, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. I try to get to them as quickly as I can. For now, this is Rob Veno saying good luck with all your plays. We'll see you next time on WagerTalk TV.